And the Hake Report is starting. I'm live on Periscope and Trovo, D-Live and Facebook, YouTube, and of course Twitch should be starting shortly. I am James Hake. This is the Hake Report. It is Thursday, 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Standard Time here in Los Angeles. Hake is live, and it is January 21st, 2021, day 2, just exactly 24 hours and 1 minute into this so-called Biden presidency. Am I going to get dinged for calling it so-called? Am I going to get dinged for saying hashtag not my president? Well, whatever. I guess he's my president. But so is President Trump, right? And so, unfortunately, is Barack Obama. Or is it unfortunate? We all have to deal, even Israel had to deal with evil kings. Seemed like every other king, or most of the kings that they had were evil. Occasionally there would be a decent one, and then his son would be a mess in Israel. Israel wasn't supposed to even have kings, but God said, all right, you're going to suffer. And surely they did. Well, the president's not supposed to be a king. And at one point, I think it didn't used to be that important that it be. Anyway, what I will be talking about, the Biden White House is a social justice White House, which means anti-justice, not justice, pushing actual injustice. And there's some interesting things going on about free speech, true speech. It's an attack not just on free speech, but on true speech. You know, they pretend to be about free speech with regard to, pornography is free speech. No, it's not. It's ridiculous. It's subversion of society. It's not valuable speech in any way. But the actual valuable speech and the truth is suppressed and banned from many areas, including from the Democrats and many rhinos, most of the rhinos. What a scam. I will be taking your calls as well, 888-775-3773. Some interesting articles, one on the situation with Julian Assange and this practice called SAMS, which is a heads up that I got from Parler. Shout out to Parler.news. And a mildly interesting little situation regarding the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, which, it's a mess, is now going from Republican-controlled to, meaning Rhino-controlled, really, to Democrat-controlled. And it's just very interesting. The Supreme Court is involved somehow, and the liberals are messing with the broadcast and print journalism stuff. They're keeping it overly regulated. All for women and minorities. Ridiculous. All that in your calls, 888-775-3773. Let's get on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la.
So, how are you all doing? I am fine. I will get right to calls after this brief little note. Ghost Murdoch says, our federal government is about to go full commie. And in many local governments, too. That is the case. And many effective, communism is also in the people's hearts, right? If you don't have the spirit of the freedom of speech and the spirit of America, of freedom, of morality, because you can't have freedom without morality. That's from one of the founders, and I think he's right, whoever said that. And I'm assuming it was a he. Safe assumption. No, I know it was a he who said that. You cannot have freedom without morality. You cannot have justice without morality. But these people think, oh, no, we need to just fix the system. And I told you in Hake News about how Milton Friedman created free speech. Wow, subversive. Nick is just joking. I don't know anything about Milton Friedman except that he was a libertarian type of a guy. And the great former Jesse Lee Peterson Bond Men's Conference speaker Larry Elder, who's interviewed Jesse Lee Peterson a number of times over the decades, used to quote Milton Friedman because Larry Elder is more of a libertarian-leaning guy. I think he's become a little bit more conservative, I think, pro-Republican. The real type of Republican, too, I think. But anyway, I got this interesting, got this interesting email regarding me from one person named Alexis, which could be a South Carolina-based person, I think. Could be a man or a woman. It's a name that can be a man or it can be a woman. So I don't know if thinks like a woman, that's for sure. And the subject line of this email sent last night reads, James Hake is a racist. It's funny. And it says, hello, I would like to inform you about your producer, because I'm producer for Church with Jesse Lee Peterson, which is from Bond. Your producer, James Anton Hake. That's my middle name, Anton. I think that's how it's pronounced. My great-grandpa was named Anton, or Anton. And he wasn't black, FYI. James is publicly spewing out his racist ideologies on Twitter. I am completely appalled that James would publicly, wow, I thought this was America, that the reason why black votes are suppressed is because black people tend to lie, cheat, and steal. And they're not oppressed. Black votes are not suppressed or oppressed. They are going out of their way to make it easier for any idiot to vote. Over 11 people have responded to his comment, with one asking if he was being sarcastic. He said he isn't. I would assume you wouldn't want a racist to work for you. Big assumption, Alexis. I believe everyone was created as equal, but I cannot stand by and allow racist to feel comfortable. Wow, the mob. Communism has raised the mob in their hearts, right? To hate freedom of speech and truth to be told. If you want, I will send proof. Yeah, and I said that they tend to lie, cheat, and steal, and then cry racism when you say, hey, hold on. What's going on here? Because we saw what looked like blacks cheating. James Anton LaVey. No, I'm not that. Isn't that a Satanist? Wasn't it a Satanist? They tend to lie. Oh, a Luciferian. Lie, cheat, steal, riot, and then cry racism when you say, wait a minute, or when you say, what's wrong with the blacks? Or I guess in Joel Friday's case, he would be called an Uncle Tom. I don't think that he would. In some cases, blacks are even called racist against their own too. Internalized racism, white supremacy, which is just.
What's wrong with the blacks?
There it is. But yeah, and this might well be an American. I don't want to dox this person, his or her last name, but it might well be an American. Blind and brainwashed, maybe even raised in South Carolina, but writing from South Carolina, according to this person. Believing, I don't want a racist to be comfortable. When in fact, it's actually the blacks who are so-called racist. Because they see a white person saying something critical about what's so commonly seen. Lying, they frequently lie. Cheating, they frequently cheat. Stealing, they frequently steal. That's documented disproportionately. And common experience also tells you the same. But then I'm the racist for pointing it out. That's why racism is not necessarily hate. It's when you say something that's true. Interesting, huh? And there was somebody else who DM'd me. DM means direct message, and I have a nasty habit of ignoring DMs and just because I'm just more interested in the public discussion, especially on YouTube comments, but not always. But I like YouTube comments because they're less oppressive, I think. There is an oppressive clampdown on YouTube comments, but I've always generally liked YouTube comments, even though some of the nice conservatives have complained about them. I remember Ben Carson complaining about them. So this guy named Connor, I assume it's a guy, Connor, who I believe is black, claimed to be black, said, just a quick question, and screen captured my thing, my tweet about this situation. Kayleigh McEnany, this whole thing started, Kayleigh McEnany said, censorship is never acceptable. I disagree with her. I think we should censor pornography and maybe even censor communism. Maybe. Not sure. But censorship is sometimes acceptable, I think. Oh, he's on the phone. Okay, cool. Here's the setup, guys. David Weissman, who is supposedly a former Republican, I think he's Jewish, and then he turned anti-Trump. He's just this prominent, goofy, middle-aged, Gen X, cringy guy, right? So he said, so why do you support the censorship of black votes? Well, I said, because they lie and cheat and steal and then cry racism when you say, hold on. And then so this guy said, Connor, who's actually on the line from Connecticut, said, just a quick question because I'm black. Are you saying 100% of African Americans lie, cheat, and steal? I said, no, not 100%. But yes, all too common. And then it went on and he talked about slavery and redlining and Jim Crow and all that stuff. And why don't I actually bring him on? I did tell him, hey, you can call in because he wanted to keep on commenting with me in DMs. And I'm not into that stuff. So Connor, thank you, man, for calling in. First-time caller from Connecticut. Wow. He emailed me. I mean, he messaged me back at like 6 a.m. this morning, and it's past 9 now. So Connor, I appreciate you calling.
Yep.
Hey. How old are you, if you don't mind my asking?
22.
Nice. So did you disagree with me that blacks all too often, all too commonly, lie and cheat and steal and then cry racism when caught? Or when somebody says, hold on, wait a minute, let's see if this is real? Did you disagree about that?
No, but I'm arguing about the reasons as to why that happens.
Okay. So you think that there are reasons why they lie and cheat and steal and cry and then cry racism when somebody says, hold on?
Well, let me ask you, do you think crime is a symptom of like poverty and stupidity in general?
Stupidity, you could say, yeah, but not poverty. Not the kind of poverty that
poverty?
No, because I'm not an atheist. I believe in like God and common sense. And so this crime causes poverty thing is a speculation. It's a lie based. It's a fake theory based on atheism.
Or statistics to back it up.
No, it's a correlation. It's a statistical correlation, but it's not a cause. Correlation is not causation.
I realize that, but
yeah, just because
that
they're
doesn't mean
correlated.
It's always not causation.
What's that?
Yeah, but
they often come together. They often come together because
if
let me
don't
just explain
think
this.
That's a correlation, then what do you think?
I think it's a causation. It's a correlation. It's not a causation.
So what do you think is a causation?
Immorality.
Immorality. You think black people are just immoral?
When they're poor and lying and cheating and stealing.
Poverty.
Yeah, poverty is often a symptom of immorality and irresponsibility.
Poverty is a symptom of immorality.
Oftentimes, yeah. Usually on the part of the poor person, but sometimes on the part of other people too. Oftentimes.
Like their parents.
Their parents, the elected leaders that they put in.
System.
Yeah, that they put in place themselves. Yeah,
So that
fellow.
doesn't sound like their fault because you're just born into that system.
Yeah, you can blame your own parents if you want.
When I
You
went
can
to
blame.
preschool.
What's that?
Like when I went to preschool, like I hadn't voted for anyone yet to like determine the funding for my school. Or
Yeah, but
education
all
or
the
anything.
people, all the blacks that you were surrounded by who were older than you did vote for that.
I was surrounded by mostly white people. I'm in Connecticut.
So did you blame the white Democrats?
No, I think that I'm an example of what happens to a black kid who grows up in a like wealthy middle class family.
So you're doing fine?
Yeah,
So how come you feel sorry for the poor blacks?
because they weren't given as many advantages as me, and that's why they're not in the same position that I am.
Did you know that they're not actually poor, and in fact they're spoiled?
Who?
The so-called poor people in America, many of them.
Why are they spoiled?
Because they are actually overserved, and that undermines them.
How?
Because they're given all of this free stuff and welfare and all that stuff, and it's a trap to avoid.
Not everyone's given welfare.
Many of them are.
Yeah, but that's just a symptom of like capitalism. If you hoard so much wealth in the 1%, it's only going to be so much for the rest of us.
Welfare is not capitalistic.
No, I'm saying it's a symptom of it.
No, it's not. It's a symptom of communism. You have socialism socialism in America, and you're blaming it on capitalism. But
A welfare state.
you're
isn't the same thing
avoiding
as
you're
socialism.
avoiding the big point that is lying and cheating and stealing and falsely crying racism wrong.
Yeah. Yes, that would be wrong.
Yeah. And so what was wrong with
But
my
you're
statement?
saying you're saying that all blacks do that,
I never said all.
or at least the vast majority.
I never even
And you-
said
and
the
you
vast
don't
majority,
address-
but it might
and
be.
You don't address why, and you don't address why.
I don't have to address why. The reality is they do, and I, in my interaction with you, I said it's
So in
poor
your
raising,
opinion,
and constantly given the fake excuse of racism.
okay, but what about so poor raising? So like there's the destruction of the nuclear family through mass incarceration.
That's
Do
not
you think
that's not the
affected to
that's
poor
not
raising?
that's not the reason for the destruction of the family. Mass incarceration had nothing to do with that. And
what
in
is
fact,
the
it's
reason for the destruction?
no, it's not. You've
So
been
you clearly
you've been
agree
lied
that,
to
that the nuclear family has been destroyed. So
by
what do you think
yourselves,
is by ourselves. Why?
not you personally.
What
but
did we do?
The forefather.
Like, are we just
You
biologically
took the
built
bribe.
different?
No, you just took the bribe. The same thing is going to
What
be
bribe?
happening to all races, and it's already doing it. But you took the bribe.
What bribe?
Not you, but
rather
the
be-
people that you're
We'd rather
identifying
be
with.
getting food stamps so that we don't have to work.
That's
we'd
what
rather
happened.
just-
That's what happened. That's what destroyed the family.
But who would want that?
Food stamps is what destroyed the family, partly. It was.
Yeah, but
I mean,
that's-
it's not
that's-
really what destroyed the family. It was part of the bribe. Part of the bribe.
So what do you think destroyed the family?
The failure, the moral failure in accepting the bribe.
The moral failure in accepting the bribe.
Yeah, and the sexual revolution, feminism, all that
The
stuff.
sexual revolution, communism, all that stuff.
You follow that?
Yeah. So,
You follow how the sexual revolution undermined family, right? Because people that weren't getting married, they were having sex.
yeah, but don't you think if we had better just birth control and education around that stuff, it wouldn't matter how many people
No.
someone had sex with?
No, because that's encouraging immorality. Do you believe in God or
It's
are you
not
a Christian?
immoral to have. It's not. Okay. Wait. So I've read the Bible. I grew up Christian, but I'm not super Christian anymore.
Yeah.
So have you ever had sex?
No.
No.
No. Have you?
Yes. I don't believe it's a sin.
You don't
Honestly,
believe it's,
even
I
believe
didn't
in
say it
God,
was a
to be
sin. I
honest.
said it's immoral.
It is a sin according to the Bible.
No, it's not. It doesn't. It never says it's a sin.
Unless you're doing it with
It says
with
it's immoral.
someone for the express
You don't think
purpose
it's
of having a
You
child.
don't think it's immoral to have sex?
God, I promise you, God will send you to hell if you have sex with anyone, unless it's for the express purpose of having a child, producing a child.
You're promising.
Like even if you
You're
come on a
promising me
person's
that.
stomach. I've read the Bible. That's what it says.
It's not exactly what it says, but that is the reason for
That
sex
is
to
exactly
have.
what it says.
No, it's not.
That is exactly.
Okay,
what it
where?
says.
Okay,
Yes, it
where?
is.
If you're gonna be like that, where does it say it?
It says it. Like I'll fucking read it and send it to you later. But
Keep the cussing.
it's about.
Keep the
it's a
cussing
story about
down.
this. Huh?
Keep the cussing down.
So it's a story about this guy who his wife died, so his brother had to end up marrying the widow.
Yeah, I remember that story.
And when he's having sex with her, he comes on the floor
Right.
instead of inside of her.
And that was
which
seen
is
as
sin.
evil. That was seen as evil by God, and he put him to death. But you just jumped to conclusions about what the reason for that was.
What do you think the reason for that was?
Because he was acting like he was going to help her make a baby, and in fact he didn't, because he didn't want it to be his dead brother's baby. There's all kinds of reasons. You're jumping to conclusions about the reason for that. You don't think it's immoral to have sex out of wedlock?
No.
Why do you
I think it's
chuckle
kinda
at? Why do
crazy
you
to
chuckle
think
about that? You think
Because
it's fine?
like-
You think it's fine to use the woman?
Do I think it's? I think it's fine if. Yeah, I think it's fine if she uses me too, as long as we're being safe and careful.
Yeah. See, that's the problem. Is that immorality? You guys are just addressing, birth control and all that stuff. You guys are just addressing the symptoms rather than the root issue, which is immorality.
I'm still not. How is it immoral to have sex?
I don't know how, but we all know it is. I don't
What do you
have to.
mean?
I don't
That
have
doesn't
to.
make any
I don't have
sense.
to be able to explain it to know it's wrong.
That doesn't
Just
make
as
any
you
sense.
don't. Just as you don't have
We
to
all
explain
know
it to
why
imagine
sex is wrong.
that
We
it's
all
wrong.
know why murder is wrong.
No, you don't.
Why is? Yes, we do.
No, you don't.
Because you're taking away a life, which is only something that God should do. Why is sex wrong?
I don't know, but it's wrong, and we all know
You
that
don't
it's
know.
wrong.
Exactly. Thank you. Fuck you, fucking faggot.
You can't be cussing, Connor. Oh, he can't. He hung up. Sorry for the cussing, kids. He probably thinks homosexual sex is okay too. He couldn't last. I mean, he's 22. Well, thanks for the call anyway, Connor. What a weak man, says Brandon M. You don't have to know why something is wrong to know it's wrong. You don't have to be able to express why it's wrong to know it's wrong. Poor little baby couldn't have a conversation, says Simp No Mo. Yeah, what did he call for? We were having a conversation about immorality, and he admitted that lying, cheating, stealing, and then crying racism does happen, and it is indeed wrong, but he has excuses for it, and his excuses were slavery, redlining, Jim Crow, segregation, gerrymandering, police brutality, unfair incarceration rates, and the destruction of the nuclear family, which he doesn't want to blame on the people themselves who had a hand in destroying their own families or not creating a family in the first place, right? And then he thinks, are you saying, he says, all that, or else you think blacks are just biologically not similar to other races. Doesn't believe in God. What a shame. Bible Go-To Guy says, rich people in businesses are accused of stealing from their customers all the time by the left. Did poverty cause them to steal, or like the blacks, just a lack of morality? Yes. It's immorality. It's a poverty of morals. Very rude to swear like that to Hake, says Super Dave. Yes, indeed. But, he doesn't know. You can no longer message this person. He blocked me. Not that I was trying to. What a shame. He's so immoral that he doesn't want you or anyone else to call it out. Beta, beta, beta. Yeah. He's 22. And that's a whole lot of brainwashing to fit into an excuse or a so-called reason for lying, cheating, stealing, and then crying racism. And he agrees that it's wrong. And he was raised right. He had told me, I said, anyway, man, I'm at work. Tune into the Jesse Lee Peterson show right now, or the Hake Report, my show in a couple hours. Thanks for the notes. If you have time, call in and we can talk on air. He said, I will. Gonna look real stupid. I don't know who he's referring to, himself or me. A little bit of both. I don't know. But that's the brainwashing of the people. And one thing that happens to people who do have sex out of wedlock, That's when they start questioning all the God stuff and starting to think that they know. Some people speculate, and I don't agree with it, but some people speculate that Adam and Eve had sex, and that's when they became ashamed. I don't know. Yeah, he said, Priyath Chan Ocha says he accused James of racism, but used the term fat as a slur. Yeah. Let me get to Brian in Syracuse, New York. He wants to give me a tip, maybe a silly tip about something unrelated, but it's fun. Brian, how are you doing in Syracuse?
I'm doing good, James. How are you?
I'm fine as well. Thank you.
It's not a silly tip, man. I'm trying to reunite you with your twin brother. He bought an old mining town in Saragossa, California. He's got like 250,000 followers on YouTube, and he looks just like you, man. He might have a little more ginger in the beard, but he looks just like you.
Okay.
I sent it to Nick last night, but I also sent Nick a picture of I bought a bunch of JLP merch and had my coworkers wear it at work, and we took a picture. And then the other day when I talked to you, you're like, oh, I like to wear JLP stuff a lot because I was asking you about that Columbus Day shirt.
Right.
And then you had Abercrombie and Fitch on yesterday, dude. What's up?
Oh, that was Abercrombie and Fitch. That's funny that you recognize it. I didn't even know that was what I was wearing. Was that what I was wearing yesterday? No, I was wearing the Hake report yesterday.
Oh, you were? So it was like 2 days ago.
Yeah, 2 days ago I was wearing that.
I was like, man, James probably got that cologne on too. He smells like the store.
I got that a few years ago. I went to the mall with Esteban of all people, and I got I got that T-shirt.
So I do have a serious question for you though.
Okay.
This is maybe more of like a JLP question, but I'll get your take on it too. So I'm a school counselor in a public school, and obviously with all the nonsense Biden signing and all that, I'm debating on what I'm going to do with my career and where I'm going to go. I'm in upstate New York, so it's pretty liberal up here and everything like that. And I'm not going to do the gender pronouns and all that other nonsense. I've openly spoke out against it, regardless of the consequences. But I just don't know where things are going.
Yeah.
What would your advice be, or if you were, talking to kids and things like that, what is something that maybe you would say to kids if you were dealing with them in public schools as far as, struggles and things that they're going through and really the lies that the adults are trying to tell them? What would you say to kids?
I don't know. I would maybe ask Jesse Lee Peterson, sometimes kids are still a little bit more sensible. They aren't fully brainwashed like what you just heard with Connor, because he's not a kid anymore. He's pretty much his mind taken over by that brainwashing. I would say if they're right in what they're saying, be like, you're right, but don't be mad about it. And that's a lot of the problems that's happening with young people and the whites and some of the others. They are right in their criticisms of what's going on, and different people who are perpetrating this stuff, pushing these lies and spreading them and the roots and all that. They're right, but just don't be mad about it.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that too, because
so you're actually counseling kids who are upset in elementary school?
So this is the school I'm at's a K through 8 school. I don't want to give too much info away just because you never know who's listening. But long story short, I'm in an inner city school, so this is actually a mostly black population. But I actually went to these schools. I actually went to one of the worst schools in this district.
Yeah.
So I when I was a senior in high school, Obama had just got elected. And I believed the lies at first, and really it took for me to go I got a scholarship to go play football at this super liberal college. And then that's really when I started seeing the lies and being this is junk.
When you went to that college?
When I went to the college.
Yeah.
Yeah, coincidentally enough, shout out to Nick. It was in Canada.
Okay, wow, that's funny.
But yeah, I went and played Canadian football. A little goofy rules, but yeah, coincidentally enough, it was one of the richest universities in the country. It's called Acadia University. Nick probably knows where it is. It's on the other coast, so it's in Nova Scotia.
Okay.
But super super liberal, And just like I learned, like I figured out what feminism was and stuff like that. And like, you know, I remember thinking to myself, like, you know, I just came from like a ghetto basically. Like I've had friends who have been shot and killed, and all these kids got rich parents, and I've never seen people with more problems.
Yeah.
It was like pathetic.
The problems don't escape you no matter how much money you have. In fact, the problems can start to compound when you have too much, when you're spoiled.
The kids were just so coddled, man. It was disgusting, dude.
Yeah.
Like it just, you know. So I'm thankful that was part of waking me up, you know, and going and forgiving my mother and all that, which I recently just did, you know. But that was like the first sense of like me seeing like, yo, like the stuff they're talking about is nonsense. Like there's no such thing as white privilege. Like it's, if anything, like it's reversed.
Yeah. You might be a light in that school where you're working, so I wouldn't jump the gun or quit unless you see that that's what you really want to do.
I'm definitely going to stick it out. I think it's more like I'm seeing where the future holds. Like I don't know. I've debated on moving to Florida. I don't know if I want to go that far south because I know how hot it is down there. But maybe like South Carolina. But I don't know. Like, and that was my other thing is like, you know, I want to be a light to these kids and really just show them like, you know, that there is a way out if you work hard, and there is hope.
Yeah.
And you know, and I've walked by classrooms. Like I remember last year I was still in grad school. I was interning in the same district. And I heard a lady say something I was walking by about, you know, racism and all that. And then she's like, well, I might say Donald Trump is racist. And I wanted to pop in so bad and be like, what has he done that's racist? Like, you're lying to these kids.
Yep.
It's disgusting, man.
Yeah, it is. It's terrible. That's why I say don't just up and even get yourself banned unnecessarily or kicked out unnecessarily. I know that I know that it's not a just system for anybody who's standing for what's right, but don't overreact with the injustice against you and against the kids who are being abused by being brainwashed like that. That's evil. I
totally agree,
There's a Bible verse that says it'd be better for a large millstone to be tied over somebody and thrown into the sea than to be misleading. I don't know if misleading is the word that they use, but children like that. It's really evil.
100%.
And that's what they go for. They try to brainwash the kids early. They got to Connor. What a shame.
100%. Yeah, man. Well, hey, James, I really appreciate it, man. Hey, can I get you to say let's go Buffalo so they can win this weekend? Let's go Bills. The New York Buffaloes? Yeah, the Buffalo Bills. Let's go Bills, right? Beat the Chiefs.
Well, good luck to them. Good luck. Good luck, Buffaloes.
Have a good weekend, buddy.
All right, Brian, you too. Take care, man. That's nice. What a mess. Yeah, I remember, and they're doing it again. This so-called Biden administration is doing it again. I saw it on Tucker Carlson on Fox News. It was reported that they're going to go after any school that is disproportionately suspending or expelling or taking any disciplinary action against blacks or Hispanics, because blacks and Hispanics statistically are disproportionately, suspended and given detention and all these things that young people go through in school for being out of control. And that's because disproportionately those ones are acting out. And yeah, the other kids are spoiled and too, they got their problems, but the blacks and Hispanics are disproportionately the ones acting out and getting violent. And over the years, I was producer for the Jesse Lee Peterson Show starting in October of 2013. And all throughout the years, I remember seeing endlessly on Colin Flaherty's station, different output, and many other local news stories, and some went national, of teachers getting clocked, meaning hit in the face, women and men, old and young, body slammed, hit by boys and girls, most of the time by blacks, sometimes by others, just out of control students. And these are big students, some of them. And yet you see, what did I see during the Obama administration? But Arne Duncan. He was the education secretary, right? Ronald Reagan was supposed to get rid of the Department of Education, but because the federal government has no business interfering. But Arne Duncan had this speech, I remember it, where he said blacks and Hispanics are disproportionately getting suspended and all this stuff, and we're going to crack down on that. Well, the result was teachers getting killed in some cases, concussions, brain damage, all kinds of stuff happening to the teachers and the kids. Decent kids staying home. Colin Flaherty is the author of White Girl Bleed a Lot and Don't Make the Black Kids Angry. And he also wrote a book, and he's put out many videos. I think he's on Minds.com still, Minds.com/Colin Flaherty. Flaherty. Colin, Colin, I believe. Been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show many times. He also wrote a book, Knockout Game a Lie? Oh, hey! No. H no. H-E double hockey sticks. Double toothpicks. But it has been an underreported thing, even in the mainstream media. They want to say, they'll report it, but won't say who did it or why or what. And it's disproportionate black on white crime, black on black crime, blacks and Hispanics fighting each other or attacking each other, innocent blacks and innocent Hispanics attacked by each other. What a mess. Asians, old people, handicapped people, retarded people. Not saying that with any... Nowadays, he's retarded. Retarded, it sounds like a hateful word. Fake. But it's a mess. Arnie Duncan did it, and now the new fake education people are doing it too, under the fake Biden administration. Phony people. Not saying the administration is fake, because if it comes down on you, it's going to feel pretty real. But these are phony people. They're not standing on truth or what's right or real justice. It's fake. The Biden White House, before I get back to calls, the Biden White House has a social justice contact form. You guys have probably heard about this by now. The White House, they got rid of everything Trump, and I found out a way to find all things Trump from as it left off just before noon yesterday. The Trump administration, his first term ended. I say first term, not that he's going to necessarily have a second, but the Biden White House contact page is corrupt, and I have screenshots of it, offering MX for a prefix instead of Mr. or Mrs. or Ms. They have MX or Mix or I don't know. How do you pronounce it? Mux? They pronounce it various ways. And I had never seen this before, so I looked it up. I Googled it, and yes, I shouldn't use Google. Google is evil. But they reference Merriam-Webster, and Webster is a dictionary, and dictionary is fake news. They said the gender-neutral MX, or mix, MX period, is used as a title for those who do not identify as being of a particular gender, or for people who simply don't want to be identified by gender. MX, or mix, is a gender-neutral honorific for those who don't wish to be identified by gender. And I looked it up on Wikipedia, and it said that it was started in like the 70s. The 70s. Let's see. Wikipedia etymology the word was first proposed in the 1970s. The X is intended to stand as a wild card character. Does not necessarily imply a mixed gender. 2013, Brighton and Hove City in Sussex, England. The UK brought this in. UK has always been. The K in the UK stands for cucked. Not to be dirty, but I just mean betraying what's right and manly and logical and real and actual loving to this false version of imitation of love. Bunch of UK institutions have brought it in. 2015, MX was included in the Oxford English Dictionary. Told you dictionaries are fake news. 2016, Metro Bank, HSBC, all the banks adopting it. The banks are pushing this LGBTQIA stuff like mad. Here in America, common in the United States, April 2016, added to Merriam-Webster Unabridged Dictionary. Webster is fake news. Mixter is sometimes treated as a long form in the title, like Mr. or is of Mr. MR. Gender neutrality in the English language. What a shame. Also, you've seen Latinx instead of Latina, Latino. This is the White House contact form. Your prefix, Mr., Ms., Mrs., Dr., Mix. Other, please specify, or none. And by the way, they also have pronouns. And what do they do in terms of pronouns? But put she, her before he, him. As if a she, her has any business meddling in politics anyways. That's part of what brought this type of mentality in here. Biden has a female mindset, not a logical one. The kind of female that listens to Satan mindset. She, her, above he, him, and above they, them, and then other, and then prefer not to share. Ridiculous, huh? That's the Biden White House. Insanity rules, validating and promoting not just insanity, not just mental illness, but spiritual illness and lies. These people are living lies who are into this stuff. And, there's this social media platform called Tumblr, and people have, young people have gone on Tumblr, especially girls, right? And they get into the transgender stuff, and they're just kind of normal kids, not very well raised, but what a mess. So, just a side note, I didn't know it, but Casa del Presidente, La Casa Blanca, 45 for the Trump administration actually did exist. I thought that this was new with the Biden administration. On Twitter, right? Twitter is evil. We all know that. But Twitter had La Casa Blanca, right? Which is supposed to be the White House, but in Spanish. Spanish language Twitter feed for the White House. Ridiculous. It is the Biden administration's, but there was one for the Trump administration. They've been, the kiss up to the Spanish speakers, Spanish-only speakers, people who never learn English, right? Has been happening for a long time. And so even the Trump administration had one. I'm sorry, because I reported that Biden had one, but Biden's not the first. Trump had it. Probably Obama had it. Who knows if W had it? They're all, except for Trump, they're all surrendering to evil, right? And it's evil because we speak English here, and we should be unified in speaking English. That's how we started. That's how we've been for is it 200 years now? Yeah, more than 200 years. But they've been pushing that, and, I know Asians who only speak Asian. I know that there's many languages, right? I know parents of friends who only speak like Cantonese or whatever. Or Vietnamese or whatever. And they get scared on the road. They can barely drive. All kinds of stuff going on. But they want to, as part of their social justice thing, they want to overcome language barriers, special treatment, rather than encouraging assimilation. Assimilation. I know Americanized Mexicans who get yelled at for not being able to speak English or preferring to speak English. Not being able to speak Spanish or preferring to speak English when there's like an old person who comes in speaking English at a Home Depot or wherever. And they get yelled at by the other Hispanics. Like, hey, it's a sign of respect. Speak Spanish to this person. It's a shame. It's like enabling victimhood. What a shame. Another quick side note, you can go to trumplibrary.gov or trumpwhitehouse.archives.gov to pull up some of the last commutations, pardons, executive actions, many of which were reversed now, of President Trump. The 1776 Commission took a historic and scholarly step to restore understanding of the greatness of the American founding. That was President Trump's 1776 Commission. You can still find the PDF, the report, It's just not on the regular whitehouse.gov website anymore. TrumpLibrary.gov, or more directly, TrumpWhitehouse.archives.gov. Easy to remember TrumpLibrary.gov to find some of those links and dig up some of that stuff. But Biden's getting rid of it. CNN called that 1776 commission racist, when in fact the 1619 Project and the Howard Zinn stuff and all that stuff is communist, racist, anti-white, anti-American mess, mush. What a shame. Let me get to Christina out of Sacramento, California, wants to comment on our greatest First Lady in my lifetime and yours, Melania Trump. I think she is. I don't know. Christina, how are you doing?
Hey, good morning, James. You know what? I'm glad you're feeling better. Sometimes our body needs to just take a break.
Yeah.
So,
I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm definitely getting better every day.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Glad you got a break. So, James, yesterday, it's probably due to my Catholic upbringing, but I wanted to light black candles throughout the house and wear black and have a black veil.
Oh, that's funny. Like a funeral type of atmosphere? Mourning?
Yes, and just have incense going throughout the house, and I thought, oh, that's silly. But yesterday was just another day to me, nothing special. And then somebody sends me a text about Melania Trump's dress, and I thought, oh, let me check that out. And here is my beautiful, eloquent First Lady wearing all black.
Oh, really?
For the inauguration or for her departure, she wore head to toe black.
Wow.
Black purse, black. And I thought, that is exactly what I was feeling and thinking all day yesterday, and here she is.
That's funny.
They didn't even attend the inauguration.
Can you Google
and
that?
Yeah. Oh,
I'm asking Joelle to Google it.
Got it. She looked stunning, as usual.
Right.
Hair perfect, everything. Eloquent, beautiful. And I thought, that is exactly what I was feeling and thinking all day yesterday. And, James, I don't think we're ever going to be able to see anything like this. What I admired about her the most is that there was finally a First Lady, that none of this agenda or anything was about her. She was fully in support of her husband, and a wonderful example, as a role model for the girls of our nation, which they're sorely, sorely missing. And it's just sad. I think it's sad. Now, I don't know Jill Biden. I have no idea what she's going to be standing for, but these ladies are supposed to be role models for women of our country. Yeah. And off she goes, into the sunset. So
That's Dr. Jill Biden to you, by the way.
Oh, there you go. There you have it,
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I'm putting screenshots in the folder, Joelle. They're transferring it. Oh, yeah, he found it. There they are.
Isn't she lovely?
Yeah.
Isn't that lovely?
Yep.
So appropriate.
Yeah.
I just look at her, I'm thinking, here's the thing, James, it's just, so finally, when Trump was in office, I look and I see a First Lady who is eloquent. Everywhere she went, every country she went, she dressed, she wore clothing to accommodate, or to represent the country. And she just looked like a princess to me everywhere she went. And I thought, what are these First Ladies? None of them do that. Everything is always about them. They're thinking about running for office, or they've got a platform. It's never about supporting their husband. So I don't know. I'm going to miss her very much. And there was finally somebody that I could show my 14-year-old daughter and say, oh, look at this, eloquent.
Right.
Now forget it. We're done. So.
Yeah, somebody in the comment section, I think her name was Ruth, in my comment section on my channel, the other day said that she liked how Melania was quiet. Generally a quiet woman, at least outwardly, right? At least in the media. Yeah, and she deferred to her husband generally. And I appreciate that.
Yes, exactly. She was the First Lady. She wasn't trying to be the first man.
First feminist. Yeah.
First feminist, exactly. It was none of that. So, yeah. But anyhow, I just, all the way from start to finish, eloquent, grace, poise, beauty, everything. Supporting her husband, And then to the end, she wears a black dress. I'm thinking that's just so appropriate.
It is. It's perfect. It's quite appropriate.
So anyhow, that's it. I just,
Nice.
I don't know. Yeah. So thanks for taking my call, James.
Yeah, thank you, Christina. Take care.
All right, you bet.
Very nice. I remember people were trying to undermine and they're probably going to continue to try to undermine their marriage. And people talking about Michelle Obama and Jill Biden. What a mess. What a mess. I'm going to get in the new hour, we're about less than 10 minutes to the new hour. I'm going to touch on the FCC in the new hour, as well as very interesting article about something called SAMS, which is basically a gag order. Try not to get in trouble with the law if you can help it, because your rights will be taken away. What a mess. SAMS, which is basically a gag order. It's ridiculous. But first, let me get to Julian in Nashville. Calling again. Right on.
Hey, yes,
nice
sir.
to hear from you, Julian.
How you doing, brother?
Fine. How are you?
I'm doing well. I don't have much to say today. I think it's a great day for America and the republic, the democracy that is the United States of America.
Why do you say that? Today is a great day for that?
Well, I think every day is a great day for that. It should be.
But why did you say today? Because you said that for a reason, right?
Well, I could have called in yesterday. I think I said the same thing yesterday, didn't I?
I don't know.
I think I did. Hey, come on, brother. You got to start remembering stuff. Now, I do want to ask this question.
Did you say that about during the Trump administration, when you called in during the Trump administration?
Well, yesterday was during the Trump administration. So
No, you called in after the Biden administration was already sworn in, because my show starts noon Eastern, which means Biden administration. You're beating around the bush, man. You're being dodgy. Why are you dodging?
I love you, brother. Yeah, I love you. That's why I love you so much. Oh, but let me ask this question. So, all right, we're talking about the elegance and the grace of the First Lady. The nudes of Melania Trump. Did y'all see those, or?
Is he really bringing
I
this
thought those
up?
were elegant. Those are graceful. I really thought they were tactfully and gracefully done. Did you see those?
No, I didn't. I'm not into that. Those are way in her past. She hasn't brought those up. Trump doesn't even really like those. And for you to bring that up, not very classy, Julian.
Oh, you said he's not classy or she's not classy? Which one?
You. Those are way in her
for
past.
Bringing up nudes?
Yeah.
I didn't take any nudes.
I know, but you're bringing them up like an unclassy person.
Oh, I'm sorry. I hate being unclassy, so let me not do that. But also, how do you...
Nasty guy.
How do you feel today, James? I really want to get your real spirit today. Or what did Jesse Lee tell you to say today?
You know, you've become like, I remember years ago when you were calling the Jesse Lee Peterson show, you would disagree, but you would still like be kind of try to, or at least put on a show of being reasonable, but the mask has been slipping big time. And I think you stopped calling because you got so mad at Jesse Lee Peterson that you just quit calling. I could be wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I could be wrong. But your mask is very thin. You're really evil and nasty.
My mask?
Mask. Because you're masking your really evil, malicious side.
Okay. What makes me malicious and evil?
Check yourself, man. Check yourself.
Well, no, you're the one. That's why I'm asking you for your advice.
But I'm not going to be able to help you see. You got to check yourself. Don't pretend like you're open.
I pretend like I'm okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying don't pretend like you're open by saying, "Oh, well, James, I don't want to be like that. Tell me how I'm this way."
Was that your imitation of me?
Yeah, kind of.
It needs a little work, but keep going. I'm listening.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah. No. But I really want to understand because again, now I'm doing my imitation of you doing me. Did you catch that? You're probably not sharp enough.
No, I'm not.
But, right. So let me know now what is the thing? What should we look forward to in this new America that we are embarking upon?
You should look forward to the day at hand.
Look forward to the day. Actually, that is wise, brother.
Yeah, I got it from the Bible. I got it from Jesus in the Bible.
I'm not mad at that at all, man. That's actually a drop the mic. I will give you that. I have no rebuttal.
Are you a
I
Christian?
will look forward to the day at hand.
Are you a Christian, Julian?
I know.
No? Were you raised a Christian?
No.
You were not even raised a Christian?
No.
You're from Nashville area?
I am. Yes.
Were you raised like by a black intellectual atheist or something? Like why are you not a Christian? Or what are you? Or what were you? Or what were your parents?
More along the lines of Taoist.
You're Dallas area.
No, not Dallas. I said Taoist.
Oh, Taoist. As in
No,
it's spelled Tao.
Look, it's spelled Tao, but it's pronounced.
Tao,
right.
yeah. Like Taoism, but it's pronounced Taoism for the lay person. So you're part.
You were smarter.
Yeah.
Listen to
Thank you.
To all the listeners now, James is actually a smart guy. He just pretends.
Well,
to be ignorant.
that's knowledge. That's not. Honestly, that's knowledge. A little bit of knowledge. That's not smartness. But anyway, so you're like, are you part Asian or something? Because you're mostly black, right? Are you part Indian?
No.
Why are you into that? Were you raised that way?
Because, yes.
Oh, okay. Man, what a mess.
That's like asking somebody. So you're asking me what is my system of? Why was I raised? System of beliefs that we just kind of come up in them, don't we? How were you raised?
Yeah. No, I was raised Christian. I never saw a reason to reject it.
Your last name Hake. Hake is German. What is your last name?
I don't even think it's my blood last name. I think my blood last name is supposed to be Rowe. But from what I understand, I was told this like kind of late in life by my mother, who just tells everything. But
wow.
From what I understand was, maybe I shouldn't get into it.
No, let's go with it. I think the people want to hear this. The people have to hear this.
It was a step parent who was named Hake, and the boys kept the name.
Your step parent or
no, a great step parent, something like that. I think it's great.
Along the line.
Yeah.
So you had like somewhere along the line somebody was not married to somebody else and they married somebody. So you assume.
I think it was my great grandpa was Hake.
So what is your actual lineage then?
I think it's Rowe.
Rowe.
Yeah. I think I'm quarter Scottish, quarter Danish. I know that there's an Irishman, and I know that there's a German guy, and I know that my grandpa, he goes back. He dates back to Virginia. I think one of his ancestors was almost burned at the stake by an Indian. According to my mother.
He burned at the stake. Why did they burn him at the stake?
They didn't, but he was almost done that way. I don't know.
Hold on. When is it? This Salem? Actually, nobody was burned.
Well, I said by an Indian, but maybe I put that in there. And who knows?
Oh, you did. There's the Indian.
And R-O-W-E, not R-O-E. Not to be confused with Jane Roe or Jane Doe or Roe v. Wade or whatever. R-O-W-E.
that means you probably come from
I know.
money,
I believe I have a lot of Englishmen in me, too. American. I feel like I remember my dad telling me they found Indian blood, like American Indian blood, and we started dancing around. Hi.
And I've never actually asked you this. Where are you actually from, like, originally?
I was born in West Covina, California. Isn't that nice?
California. Okay, so that means you probably used to like other people of other races. When did you stop liking people of other races?
I never stopped liking people of other races.
Now, that's not what your producer said. I was talking to him right before we got on the phone, and he said, I don't know if he's of color, but he said he wouldn't work for you because...
He's probably messing with you, and you didn't catch on.
Was he messing with me? He said he really
but he's not my... I don't think he's really my producer. But anyways, yeah, he's probably messing with you.
He thinks you're racist.
Nick says that he didn't say a word of that. So, are you making stuff up again, Snake?
I will put Nick online. Nick and I have spoken a couple times over the past couple days.
Well, you just
I
called
don't
him my
like you very much,
producer, and
man.
yet that he wouldn't work for me because I'm racist. Okay, buddy. Anyway,
No,
very interesting
I said
calls.
without the money, he wouldn't work for you because you're racist.
Oh yeah, no,
How would it?
he never said that. You don't know what you're talking. You're making stuff up, Snake. He didn't even
You don't
joke
believe
about that, and he's
No, it's
not
the
above
truth.
joking about that. But he didn't even joke about that.
No, it's the truth.
No, it's not the truth.
It is.
No.
Alternative facts. Okay, let's call them alternative facts. then.
No,
Let's do that.
alternative facts are actually factual.
Hold on, alternative facts. Yeah. Okay. boom,
Alternative
that's what I'm saying.
facts. Alternative facts
There we
are
go.
actually factual.
So now we're in the ballgame.
Yeah, they bring
Now we
light to the
understand.
truth. And you didn't give me an alternative fact. You just made something up.
Okay, so Nick, I apologize. Nick actually didn't say that for all your listeners. Nick didn't say that, but I just wanted to prove a point about alternative facts. So I had to.
No,
circle
that's
back
not an
to that
alternative
just for
fact.
the sake of doing it.
Alternative, Nick says, no, boop, you. You didn't
Did
prove
Nick
any
say
point
me?
because there are actual alternative facts. For example, yes, blacks are disproportionately incarcerated and for longer periods of time. But the alternative fact is they disproportionately commit crimes. They have they don't show up to court with a suit. They don't show up on time. They skip stuff, all kinds of stuff going on. And they're not necessarily charged with all of the things that they actually committed. So they take plea deals and all kinds of stuff. Those are alternative facts that explain the bigger picture to the hand-selected facts that make up the pretense that racism exists. So alternative facts bring light to the deceptively selected facts, fake facts of the liberals. Facts are not truth.
I like that. Hold on, say that again. I like how you said the deceptively selective fact.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay.
And it's
Yeah,
also
keep
not
going.
true
I'm
because I
listening
don't
to
pay Nick.
You don't pay what?
Nick.
I'm sorry, I missed what you said.
Nicolas, I do not pay Nick. Oh, we're overtime.
You don't pay Nick, so Nick is a slave. I knew
I
you
wish.
were about that.
I wish. Anyway, nice talking with you, man. We'll talk again, I guess.
You as well. Have a good day, Jack.
You too.
Love you, brother.
That kind of love, I think I might pass, but I will get back to calls. Hang tight, guys. Rick in Maine and Nathan in Toronto, Canada, and the rest of the people. Hang tight for the rest of hour 2. I'll take a quick break. Be back in a couple of minutes here. Come out, snakes. Where are you hiding out? That is a song from John Parfitt, Jon Parfitt, Parfitt, also known as Bright Lights. Great song, come out. Not like that, necessarily. You know, in the inauguration, basically nobody was allowed outside. It was a ghost. D.C., seemingly, from what I understand, was turned into a ghost town. And Michael Tracy, who's a liberal, pretty far left guy, actually, but sometimes he's an honest journalist, right? He tweeted just an hour ago, so are we all going to just forget now that Washington, D.C. was put under military occupation? 25,000 National Guard deployed there, including 1,000 from Texas, who were then vetted to see whether they supported Trump or something like that. Ridiculous. Military occupation based on a quote-unquote threat that was never substantiated and never materialized. It was all a big show. And some say that that was an excuse to hide the fact that Biden has very little actual real support. Yeah, I've seen people on Twitter who I think are real people who are so-called glad for this thing because there are a whole lot of blind, brainwashed people in America and in the world. But somebody expressed it as this. The military had to install this president. And I know, like, they didn't look like they were armed. The day before, they were carrying rifles. They were slung over with rifles, these National Guardsmen. But no, what is that called? Is that called a clip or is that called a magazine? I think it's called a magazine, right? I don't know. But it was these rifles, there was no ammunition. Unloaded, completely unloaded rifles. Why are you standing around with unloaded rifles? Michael Tracy, this independent journalist, pretty far left guy, Bernie supporter, I think, asked them. I don't know, just doing what I'm told, said the National Guardsmen. And then I think yesterday, many of them were completely unarmed, or at least not carrying those rifles. And then Joe Biden being trucked around, and then he gets out and walks and pretends like he's running a little bit. And oh my gosh, him signing those things behind his mask. He went to the Oval Office, right, and played president. And he's signing these executive orders, a huge stack of executive orders, supposedly executive orders. They looked kind of blank to me, and it looked like he was reading. And he's talking like this. And these loud click, click, clack, refresh it, guys. YouTube was not, I'm seeing this, YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain. Oh, yep, stream just went down. Let's see if it starts up again. Sorry about this, guys. Unwatchable buffering, says Justice S. Let me know if we're back up. Am I back? Am I back? Okay, yes, we are back. We are back. Retweeting it. I think that some of you guys, I'm getting text messages from people saying, let him go, man, he played a game. I think you're watching a little bit late. You're a few minutes behind, actually. Anyway, I'm back on air. Sorry about that, guys. What a mess. You should be seeing me. Press 1, type 1 if you see me. If you don't, then I guess you can't type 2 because you can't hear me. Or you can't type 3, or you can probably type 3 if it's a little shaky. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah, Joe Biden looking all very deliberate movements, slow and deliberate movements, so that he doesn't pull anything. I know the feeling, man. I got a beta back too sometimes, or I have in the past. Very slow and deliberate movements, very gingerly trying to jog a little bit. This man's 78 years old, and he is acting every bit of it. And he's shouting reading the what is that called? The teleprompter. His, the empty, blank, shallow, pathetic words. Talking about, we're gonna. Sounds like a shouting, half-gone old man. And not a respectable old man. And I hate to say it, a silly old man. What a shame. But that's what allegedly the people elected. What a shame. Jib Jab gave a super chat on Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. Bonus dias, amigo. That's Earl for buenos dias, which is Spanish for good morning. Bonus dias, amigo. Glad to see you back intact and in one piece. Everybody was assuming you got the Hong Kong virus. No, it's not the Hong Kong virus, but yeah, no, don't assume because you don't know. Thank you, Jib Jab, for pointing that out. It was just a crazy head cold, I think. King Alpha Nerd gave a super chat an hour ago, actually, and said, "Oh, I think Anton hurt Connor's feelings. Dropping F-bombs doesn't make you a man. No wonder he sounds like he's on pot. He sounds depressed and full of no energy. Beta! Do the beta drop, Joel," says King Alpha Nerd. He also says, "I was playing taps myself yesterday." Meaning, that's the dun, 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 dun. I'm out of tune already. But you know that tap song with the bugle by the Military Men? When somebody dies and they do a funeral? It's a beautiful song. He was playing taps to himself yesterday. It was a very dark day yesterday and for the next 4 years, but the war is still on. We got to keep fighting. And as Jesus said, if we are Christians or if we are really his brothers, we are the light of the world. And so consider it pure joy, right? Nice. Let me get back to some calls. I have Nathan in Toronto, Canada, who has a dark prediction, I think. Nathan, how are you doing?
Hey, Hake.
Hey.
Nice to talk to you, sir.
Nice to be talked to.
I'm glad you didn't get the COVID.
Me too. I mean,
because
actually, I probably would have been better off had I got it.
Right? Because I was going to say, you'd have a 99% chance of being better.
Yeah.
And you probably have a less chance of being better from a regular cold. So
right.
There you go.
What a mess.
But today, so the other day, yesterday actually, because it was the dark day of the inauguration, right?
Yeah.
The ratioed inauguration.
That's true.
It got ratioed, and they had to disable comments.
Yeah.
Hilarious, right?
Ratioed, for those who don't know, means a high ratio of dislikes to likes, is one example of a ratio. Yes, ratioed indeed.
So that was kind of, it kind of had a little bit of that was nice to see.
Yeah, I agree.
But I definitely was a bit frustrated yesterday seeing the way the world is kind of going. And I just asked God, I'm like, God, I just need a little bit of something, just give me a little bit of something to show me what to do or how to feel about all this. And I just turned to a random passage in the Bible, and I'm just starting to, really get into Christianity again. I'm not a Bible thumper or anything, but I'm trying to read it again, right?
Yeah.
And I turned to the section about Daniel and Nebuchadnezzar's dream. Do you remember anything about that?
Yeah, a little bit. Yes, I do.
Yeah. So could I
Daniel
just read a passage from it?
and Nebuchadnezzar's dreams. Okay. When you first mentioned it, I was thinking Joseph and Pharaoh's dreams.
Right.
And other dreams.
Kind of similar, actually.
Yeah, similar idea.
Right. But could I just read a short passage to show you what I turned to?
Very short. Go for it.
Okay. So basically Nebuchadnezzar has a dream, and he asks his people to tell him what the dream is and tell him what it means. But they all say we can't tell you what it means unless you tell us the dream, right?
Yeah.
But he's like, that's not what I want. I'm going to kill you if you can't tell me what the dream is. So then Daniel asks God to tell him the dream so he can tell Nebuchadnezzar. And then so this is the explanation. This was the dream. Now I tell your majesty what it means. Your majesty, you are the greatest of all kings. The God of heaven has made you emperor and given you power, might, and honor. He has made you ruler of all the inhabited earth and ruler of all the animals and birds. You are the head of gold. After you, there will be another empire, not as great as yours. And after that, a third, an empire of bronze, which will rule the whole earth. And then there will be a fourth empire, as strong as iron, which shatters and breaks everything. And just as iron shatters everything, it will shatter and crush all earlier empires. You also saw that the feet and toes were partly clay and iron. This means that it will be a divided empire, and it will have something of the strength of iron because there was iron mixed with the clay. The toes, partly iron and partly clay, mean that part of the empire will be strong and part of it weak. You also saw that the iron was mixed with the clay. This means that the rulers of the empire will try to unite their families by intermarriage, but they will not be able to any more than iron can mix with clay.
Wow.
At the time of those rulers, the God of heaven will establish a kingdom that will never end. It will never be conquered and will completely destroy all those empires, then last forever. So, to me, that kind of sounds like America right now, right? You have you have some people that are strong. I say the Christians and the more conservative people. And you have these liberals that are weak. You have the iron and the clay, right? The blacks and the whites.
Yeah.
The blacks and the whites, and they're trying to mix with intermarriage. And hey, I'm black and white.
Yeah.
My parents tried to mix with intermarriage. It didn't work.
Right.
And America's trying to do the same thing with just trying to, like, diversity and let's all just get intermarried and intermixed and we'll all be one.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like it's working, right?
Or one world government and, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, so.
You know, I wonder, as you were describing it, and I've read this passage before, actually, and I've thought about, it sounds kind of like America. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that is a reference to America, right? We don't want to jump to conclusions that it is.
I don't know either. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying that I know, but I'm saying, like, there is definitely some characteristics.
But you say the conservatives are strong? I don't think that the conservatives are particularly strong. I know that spiritually the liberals are weak, but yet they're very hard and coming down hard on anybody who represents anything remotely close to decency or truth. So it's kind of hard to know which one is the clay and which one is the iron.
I definitely, the rhinos.
If that even applies to us.
Clay.
Yeah.
Yeah, rhinos are definitely clay. But, one thing I got to say is that I think the best example of standing up to all this evil that I've seen in my entire life was the Capitol attack, protest, whatever you want to call it. That was standing up. That was actually doing something that needed to be done. And I think we need conservatives, real conservatives like you and Jesse Lee Peterson, to not disavow these people, but to actually say that is an example of standing up. We need to actually stand up and fight these people.
I think you're blind on that note, Nathan, because that wasn't an example of what needed to be done. That wasn't an example. That was not an example of standing up.
I think it was.
That had baked Alaska and Hornsman, for crying out loud, and a guy who was bleeding hard from the face. That was not standing up. The people who were at the protest, peacefully standing up, those were standing up, but they didn't do what needed to be done. The others, the ones who went into the Capitol building.
I don't know, man. I think when you have an entire system, those who stole the election.
No, I'm talking about those who stole stuff from the Capitol building.
Oh, I mean, I don't know about that, but.
There were thefts, there were broken windows. I'm sure there was. And those were maybe the Antifa Black Lives Matter people. And there was a retired firefighter who's accused of throwing a fire extinguisher that hit 3 officers in the head. Not the one that killed the guy. It was a different fire extinguisher that killed the guy. But they didn't know what the heck they were doing. Those were Q-tards and Black Lives Matter and maybe some Antifa. There were guys who got caught up. That's not standing up. That's not standing up in the right way.
I don't know, man. I've seen people.
I do know, man.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
There were people standing up the entire.
And I'm not disavowing them. I'm not necessarily disavowing them. I'm just saying.
You're disavowing them, man. You're disavowing them. You just disavowed them right now.
What do you mean? But let me explain what I'm doing.
You just disavowed them. Don't say you didn't disavow them. You just did.
What's disavow mean?
You just said that what they did was wrong, and you said
that's not disavowing them.
And BLM.
That's not disavowing them, man. Nathan, that's not disavowing them. Dylon has done something that I felt was wrong. I didn't disavow him, but I said, Dylon is my former de facto producer who did something a little wild. I said, Dylon, you're getting out of hand. I didn't disavow him. So you're you're jumping to conclusions about what you're seeing. You don't, and what you're hearing. You don't know what you're talking about. And you're gonna.
I do.
No, you don't.
All right, fair enough. But
Yeah.
let me just make this last point. Is that I've seen Trump.
You're the one. Are you the one? Never mind. I don't want to bring up personal stuff.
Yeah, let's not go there. But Trump supporters have been standing up the past 4 years, have they not? They've been going to rallies. I've seen them go into Portland, like into enemy territory, just to fly the Trump flag
And get themselves killed. In some cases.
Get themselves killed. I mean, other people killed them. I don't think they got themselves killed. Other people made the decision to shoot them.
I know,
So
but they knew what
killed.
was coming. Once you saw the Kenosha riot, because the Kenosha riot, in which Kyle Rittenhouse had to defend himself from attackers,
Right.
one of whom was armed, one of whom was pointing a gun at him.
Was that before or after that happened?
It was
I think it
before
after.
the guy. No, it was before the guy got shot in the chest.
Right.
The guy
Yeah,
got shot in the
so-
chest like the next weekend, I think, if my memory serves me, which it usually does.
So
And that's
let
a
me- let me
warning.
just-
And Antifa's
Yeah.
evil. And there's no need to go out in the street and battle with Antifa. What good does that do? Nothing. It only gets you guys, well, not you personally. I don't know if you're Proud Boys, but there's a, from what I hear, there's like a split where some of those are on the street and they want to brawl. And what good does it do? It's just a bunch of LARPing, live action role play.
yeah, I'm not saying the LARPing is necessarily good, but
That's all that was that you saw at the Capitol. They were helpless. They felt helpless, and they overreacted, trying to do something without being led by God and led by stillness and calmness. There's times when like in stillness, like the great George Washington, and I don't know if he was a perfect example, but he sat and prayed, or he kneeled and prayed, and then he whooped some redcoats, right?
Yeah, he killed them, right? He killed them.
But he did it
went
out of
and killed them.
stillness. He did it out of stillness. This was war, and that was actual war, Nathan. Are you a Fed?
No, I'm not a Fed. I'm just a.
You're acting like a Fed or
I'm just a Canadian.
I know. You're acting like a what is this type of thing? Like a Spurg. You're acting like a Spurg, Nathan.
I'm not
How
a Fed.
old are you?
I just believe that at some point.
How old are you?
Christians are gonna have to fight.
No. How old are you? I'm going to hang up if
31.
you don't be quiet. Okay.
I'm 31.
Yeah. You're immature. You got to.
All right.
Are you doing the prayer?
Yes, I am.
Have I heard from your family before or any family members before?
No, you have not. Heard
Are you
of
sure?
my family. Yep.
Are you mixed or something? What are you again?
Yeah, mixed.
Oh, yeah, you told me. That's right. Anyway, man. No.
But, okay, but
Hey,
you,
no
do you not think
buts.
there's
We
gonna
can
be
talk
there's
another
gonna be
time. Let's talk another time. You got to calm down. You're trying to get me banned.
I'm perfectly calm. I'm perfectly calm.
That's what all non-calm people think. I am very calm. Anyways,
trying
let's
to
talk
make a
again.
point about-
Let's
All right,
talk
fine.
again.
Later.
Appreciate you, man. What a mess. Spurg is short for Asperger's, which, no offense to Asperger's sufferers or what are they called? What's the Dylon type people? They have autism. Autists. It's kind of like, anger blinds you and it makes your mind go haywire and you think, wild. And you think that you're doing what's right and you're really not. Let me get to a man who is mature, but maybe he's a bit passionate about the situation too. Rick in Maine wants to comment on vaccines, which they are pushing big time, and Biden's executive orders. Rick, thank you for holding it. I'm glad that I was able to get to you.
Yeah, my favorite millennial. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Oh, that's a tough act to follow. Holy mackerel. Hey,
He's a nice guy. I think he means well, but he's gonna get himself and other people around him in trouble if he's supporting insanity. Because this stuff is meant to drive you insane and to overreact.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a couple of points that I'd like to make. Everybody's squawking about this vaccine and you're not going to be able to access this, access that unless you get the vaccine. That gives me a thought. How are you going to access it if you don't have the chip?
Oh, they're going to push that on us?
There you go. You got it, buddy. You
Yeah.
got it. And my other point about this racism, yep, racism exists. You're right, absolutely right. It does exist because the whites are getting caught up in this racism. But now, instead of the blacks, it's the whites that are getting involved in this stuff. We're now the ones that are the targets.
Oh, are you saying that's Jim Crow against white people right now? Yeah. I don't think racism exists. I think it's just an exploitative.
Really.
Yeah, it does not exist. It's just they don't actually believe in what they're saying. It's just an exploitative manipulation of intellectuals who are blind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that still boils down to what is going on. Call it what you may.
Right.
But everything is.
You're saying that whites.
Title.
Are you saying that whites are the racism is against whites right now? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it's not real racism. It's an evil, lying attack on whites, not because they're white, but because they generally stand for what's right and generally believe in freedom. And they're the only ones standing in the way of the takeover of America. This is our country.
That's just right. This is right.
Or was.
I fought, and some of my family died for the rights that people enjoy these days. Oh, and by the way, James.
Yeah.
Call him what you will, but I have the same feeling about Mr. Biden as I did Mr. Obama.
Oh, yeah.
He is not, nor will he ever be, my president.
Nice. I appreciate the sentiment. I can agree in a sense, for sure. He is a president. He pretends to be for all Americans, but we know he's not for any of us. He looks down on everybody.
He does.
Yeah.
Well, if he remembers what he's doing.
Right. True.
The man has no.
And everybody looks down on him.
Memory.
Yeah.
But I just will not obey anything that the man decides he's going to make an executive order of. So.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily make up your mind in that way, because sometimes it's wise to obey certain things.
Well,
So take it as it comes. I say take it day by day, because sometimes you have to follow an unjust law. If you can avoid it, that's great. But sometimes it's what, for example, taxes. Most of these taxes are completely unconstitutional. But if you want to function in the world, many of us have to pay taxes. Some of you some of you guys are trying to get away with it. I know some people. One guy got arrested, I think, on the water. That McAfee guy.
They'll get the taxes from you, and you could be guaranteed that it's going to double, if not triple.
Yeah.
Because they're going to try to fund their foolishness one way or the other.
Right.
And you're going to see China that's going to be extremely heavily involved in that mess. I mean, they already are to a smaller extent.
Yeah.
But now it's even worse.
Yeah. No, and China's really just another example of the evil that's right here in America.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a mess.
Yeah. And you America haters, I've got one thing to say to you. Leave.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
You don't like my country. You deface the honor of the people that fought and died for the rights that you have. You don't deserve to live here.
Yeah, it's true. But they're going to stay here, and they're going to try to push us out.
I know.
Yeah.
Good luck.
I don't know. They're pretty successful, man. It's a mess right now. Or at least it's looking that way. But we'll see. Appreciate you, Rick.
Well, James. Take care. Stay safe. God bless.
Thank you. Same to you.
And we will talk with you later.
All right. Take care, Rick. Appreciate you, man. Let me get to Gabriel in San Francisco, California. Gabriel, what's up?
What's up? What's up, Hake?
Hey.
Yeah, I was just calling. You know, all the first two callers that was before me. They had some. You know, the Canadian guy. He needs to mind his own business. They stick with Canada, because right now I talk to my friends in Canada, and there's a lot of bad things happening in Calgary. You know, they're even food is running low there. So
wow.
And so they're getting in fights and lines just like everybody else.
Wow, what a shame.
Here in America, man, I was at D.C. I was in D.C.
On the 6th?
Yeah, I was there on the 6th.
Wow.
So
peacefully
I was
protesting? Mostly peacefully or 100% peaceful?
100% peaceful, man.
Okay.
It was the greatest time that we had standing out there. We were in the freezing cold. I mean, the people around us were loving our country and loving the speakers and loving what Trump was saying.
Did you hear President Trump's speech?
Yeah, it was 100% peaceful.
When you heard him say, "Go over to the Capitol and fight like hell," how did you take it? Did you take that as orders to go invade? How did you take it?
No, not at all. Not at all. We took it as, hey, we're going to go over there, stand out there, and let our voices be heard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And let them see us. You know?
Exactly.
Let them see that the people support our president and our country. Man, we love our country.
Yep.
But so all the negative things, like before we even got over to there, after President Trump finished speaking, man, there were already people over there tearing up stuff.
Yeah, so that's what I heard.
So there was a 600 block, there was a 700 block, and a 500 block. All the people were walking over on those blocks. I think I was in the middle block. We were walking straight up to the Capitol. As we went down there, man, it was just a flow of peace, man. It was awesome. We all got word as we were walking that Vice President Pence was going to do what he did, and we know what he did was wrong. It was right in his sight.
Yeah.
But anyways, so we continued the walk, man. By the time we got there, I mean, you saw the police opening the gates and allowing the people to come in. It was a big show.
Right.
It was like a Broadway play. We saw a dude standing up, dressed up like who's the dude with the American flag? Anyways, the dude was standing on top of the flagpole doing some dumb stuff. Then we had some other folks that were saying, "Come on, come on!" The police were standing right next to them. We saw them taking the selfies with each other. We were like, "What is this?"
Yeah,
this is not what they're asking. Come over the wall, come over the wall, and we would, we didn't buy into that stuff.
Right.
But we saw the fakeness that was going on, and it wasn't anything that our country represents.
Right.
They started tearing up, they started throwing stuff, but then. The police in turn, we don't even know if it was the police, but they hit us with tear gas. They hit us with the plastic bombs that came and hit. It broke an old man. It damaged his face and broke his glasses off. I wish I had it all on video, but my videotape shows the tear gas coming over our heads. When we're just standing there, we got hit with tear gas. And we weren't the ones that were making the aggression towards the steps, but the people that were there peacefully, we ended up suffering the repercussions of Black Lives Matter, Antifa, and all the other idiots that were there, and the ones that followed the people into the Capitol. It was just dumb.
Yeah.
It's something that we didn't have to do. What I wanted to do, I wanted to see, I wanted to look from the Capitol steps, and I wanted to look out and see that Forrest Gump moment when Jenny ran over, or when him and Jenny ran to each other. But it wasn't, the peace was there, The people that wanted to do their stuff it was already an act or a play that was happening. And, man, it was great. I mean, we had a great time outside of what went on. We left before all the police came there and started shutting stuff down.
Yeah.
Trump supporters were really being very great, man, from Freedom Plaza the day before. It was great. I mean, everything. It was beautiful. It was a wonderful experience to be with people who really love America.
Right.
I love America, man.
Nice.
I'm an American. I happen to be black. I'm black, but I love it. You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, I love our country being united. Joe Biden, this dude is absolutely not our president.
Yeah.
He is a sleepy dude. He's put into position. And thank God for him, right? Because it's showing how idiotic Americans can be.
Right.
You know, we can't come to this point again. And I hope that Americans see this and really begin to stand up. Like the song says, stand up. We really need to stand up, hey.
Yeah.
Because this is some bull crap. We will not accept abortion. As conservatives, we believe we're against abortion. We stand against that. I hope Joe Biden doesn't try to bring that back. But
he's bringing it back, buddy. You know that.
Hey, imagine this. Imagine how much material comedians are going to have for the next 4 years.
I don't picture them doing anything. They have not been funny for probably decades now.
No. No, I'm saying that the jokes that are going to be against Joe Biden from conservative radio, it's going to be hilarious, man.
Maybe so,
They've already started.
You know, when you guys were over there and you guys saw the chaos, the hints of chaos that were already going on before you got there.
Yeah.
I think that was the sign that you guys should get on out of there, including that old man who got his glasses broken and his face damaged. Because any time that there's a sign of that type of activity, that's a sign to get on out of there. Because it's a volatile situation. And that's beyond just one guy getting a little out of hand and saying, hey, calm down. That's beyond what you can, what one man or even a group of people can deal with rightly.
Hey, I would say this though, that in every bad situation, right, there is a witness.
Right.
And that witness can tell the truth about what happened.
Yeah.
And what's happening is, I believe that right now, even in the voter fraud that happened, I know we can't say that. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. But anyways, even in the voter fraud, the people who signed those affidavits, their life is in jeopardy.
Yeah.
Their very lives are in jeopardy. So the ones that witnessed the peaceful protest there, even they are going to come under some kind of scrutiny.
Very true. So it's already happened.
I was there. I saw peaceful, and I saw the game being played on all the other folks.
Yeah.
And thank God I didn't get caught up in that, and I left peacefully. You know.
Right
and
on.
So I came
all the way from San Francisco, huh?
Well, I'm actually from Fairfield, but I grew. I'm born and raised in San Francisco. But I live in Fairfield, California. But every time I tell Nick Fairfield, he says San Francisco.
No, but I meant I just told him you went from Fairfield you went from NorCal basically to Washington D.C. for the 6th.
Yes, I did.
That's cool, man.
Yes, I did. And I was there for 4 days, and I enjoyed the whole trip.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? I have family that's out there. Visited my family, and none of my family is with the conservative movement.
Except for you,
I will always be a conservative because I believe in what is right, and I'm against everything that's wrong.
Well, I appreciate it, Gabriel. It's good to hear from you, man. Take care.
Okay, hey, all right. Thank you, man.
All right, thank you. Let me get to Art in Ohio. He wants to respond to Connor, the first caller at the very beginning of my show, towards the beginning, who got mad and cussed at me and hung up. He believes in racism and stuff, and poverty causes crime, he thinks. And he thinks it's not wrong to have sex out of wedlock. What's up, Art?
Man, what's up with you?
Nothing much. How about you?
Hey, I'm all right. I was just listening to that little caller, man.
22-year-old, Connor from, I forget where. Connecticut.
That's my problem with the young generation, like right there, man. Like a lot of them calling in, they sound like they balanced out, and it makes me proud because I heard a couple 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds call in some weeks ago, and they sound like they got it. But the problem is with that young dude right there is when he thinks that you against him, he does what everybody else did to Trump. They turn their back on him because they thought he filed bankruptcy and he broke, or they figured that we'd just trick him and act like we with him, and then when we know that we're going to turn against him, then you see what I'm saying?
Yep, they only with Trump as long as he has the power. Once it looked like he didn't have the power, they just completely they couldn't wait to abandon the guy and backstab him. Yep.
And that's how them younger dudes is. But you clearly can listen to how he talks and know that he was raised by a single liberal mom or a single liberal
or just
female.
a female-minded father. You're right. I should have asked that. I didn't even think to ask whether he had his father. But he said, "Oh, upper middle class family," and a lot of those guys who are spoiled, they fake feel sorry for the so-called poor people in America, and bring in these liberal female-minded values. Fake values.
Well, we already know that the liberals are really the alleged racist ones, but I don't believe in racists. I just believe in that you got ignorant people. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He ain't nothing but an ignorant dude or whatnot that exposed himself. You got on here and sat on his phone, called another man, Hake, and just because you didn't agree with him, which you ain't gonna agree with him anyway, because you a libtard. You're just sitting on the show, watching the show, just so you can I don't understand it. I don't understand how you can sit and watch somebody that you don't agree with or like.
Yeah.
Just so you can sit and cuss them out and then hang up, man, boy. And these are the people that's in office right now.
Very
them
true.
People right there.
Yep.
Them are the people that's in office. And then my next problem is, hey, why don't everybody? I just was watching something last night. You got all this COVID stuff. See, they brought Donald Trump in for these last 4 years to try to clean up America and revigorate America from all the mess that Obama and Bush put us in.
Right.
Okay, so as Trump, all this stuff is going
and
on.
Clinton, by the way.
Clinton. Yeah, so since all this COVID, what I figured out that they used the COVID for, the Democrats thought, in the Rhino Republicans, the Republicans period, they thought they was going to use that, shut the economy down to hurt Trump. And then when they got him out, they was going to open it back up. But see, what they don't understand, the Republicans and the Democrats, because they ain't got no business mind, ain't business mind like a person like Trump that was business minded, money passed down through generations. They don't understand that they're not about to be able to open back up the economy, and all their business is shut down. They're not coming back. Let alone you got Democrats. Joe Biden already showed you he's a scam artist. He don't know nothing about economics.
Right.
He know how to rob. He know how to rob you. He don't know nothing about how to get the economy back going or whatnot.
That's true. All he is a phony politician for the last 47 years, if that's the real number. What a mess.
And what Kamala Harris know about her little dot in the middle of her head about finance, because she had to go get with a white dude to give her any type of stability and any type of comfort.
So-called
white. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So-called white, and she's a prosecutor. So my thing is, once y'all know that because they use Trump to try to get the economy going and then try to kick him out, or which I don't know if I think Trump really, he left out the office because he knew that he couldn't save America. He don't want to be the one that is the blame for America. America's done, man. And I think that he knew and he pulled himself out just so he can, that's the smartest thing that he could have did. You can't.
No, I think Trump lost the battle. Or we lost a battle, but it's a spiritual war, and we're still going. It's not over yet.
Well, okay, see. Okay, you might be overlooking. You might not be over kind of seeing what I'm saying. No, you know how we like, man. Why didn't Trump do this and do that? And he could have stayed in office. No, I'm thinking he wasn't doing certain things because he was trying to get the hell up out. Get up out of office. You see what I'm saying?
I don't think so. I think he did what he was supposed to do. I mean, I think he did everything that he saw that he could do right up to the very end. I felt like he was fighting for America and for his presidency, which is pro-America, right up to the very end. That's why he was calling on Mike Pence to do it, because many experts believed that Pence could do something when the more establishment people are like, oh, no, it's just ceremonial. He can't do anything. And Pence listened to that because that's what the mainstream push. The mainstream would have, which is the evil side, would have come down hard on Pence had he tried to do that. And he wasn't willing to stand up to that, or I don't know exactly what went through his mind or what he was presented with. But I think that Trump did what he saw that he could do. I don't think that this declaring martial law that people were hoping that he would do, or I don't know exactly what you were thinking that he could do to stay in office. I don't think that would have flown. I really don't think so.
All right, let me switch gears real quick.
All right.
So did you see that little interview with Angela Rye or whatnot, where she was talking to the
that woman,
to the white lady, and she was trying to push all that that propaganda, slavery, history stuff that she don't know nothing about.
I'm familiar with Angela Rye. She's that liberal woman who's like on CNN, and she's either a podcast or TV show host, and she's like girlfriends with that rapper Common, who's like an actor, I think, or she was anyway. I'm familiar with Angela Rye. I don't know what white lady she talked to recently.
Well,
but I know that she's a social justice woman, and she's, I think, the one who said the blacks need to run from cops and resist arrest, because if they don't, they get killed, which is exactly wrong. That's exactly what gets them killed. Angela Rye, I think she's the one who said that. Anyway.
Yes. Well, from my observation of me watching the little interview, Angela Rye basically punked the white conservative woman, and it's a common thing that I'm starting to see, that they bring up this racist talk nonsense, and the white people get scared instead of standing up and saying, I'm not racist, or this ain't racist because this diversity is hurting America.
Yeah.
That's not racist. And the white lady actually shut up instead of standing up.
Yeah.
And what I'm basically saying is these half-breed mixed females is more white than they are black, thinking they standing up for thinking they standing up for me when they actually hurting me, and I want them to be quiet. It's just like the friend that you trying to talk to in the mall, and the friend is mad that you don't talk to her, so she say that her and the friend are girlfriends just to keep you from trying to talk to her. Like, her friend don't need you to stand up for her. You know what I mean? They overstep their boundaries or whatnot. And it is a problem with this so-called inclusivity. It is damaging America.
Yes.
Everybody is not supposed to be in politics, and everybody ain't supposed to be in America.
Yep.
And y'all keep up with this kumbaya stuff, you're going to get smallpox in your blanket, and that's what's happening. God bless you, Hake. I'll catch you later, big dog.
Thank you, Art. Appreciate you, man. Very true. Let me get to Maze, my favorite caller in Dayton, Ohio. She wants to comment on the First Lady or ladies. What's up?
I want to comment on the First Ladies.
Okay.
That y'all having a problem with. And Nancy Reagan.
No problem.
She was, what did Nancy Reagan do?
She was a nutcase, from what I understand.
As you call her in that case. So Rosalind Carter was what? What did she do?
She was the head of Jimmy.
Okay. And we go to...
I wasn't born yet. I might have been conceived.
Barbara Bush, what did she do? What was her job? I mean, what did she do in life?
Who knows?
Oh,
She controlled the adult children. She controlled Jeb. Jeb is total mama's boy.
And Hillary Clinton, what did she do? I'm just asking questions.
She controlled Bill.
Oh, she controlled.
She was the real president, is what I heard when I was a kid.
And Laura Bush, what was her job?
I don't want to say because I can't cuss.
She was a librarian, wasn't she?
Oh, really? Okay.
And then we get to Michelle. She was a what?
She was trying to control what you eat.
What did she do?
She controlled what you eat. She was also a lawyer and a liar and an America hater.
So what do they all have in common? All those women that I just named.
Women.
They were born in America and they was Americans, right? Wouldn't they?
Don't know, but probably so. Yeah, probably so.
Oh, and then I forgot.
Are you a nativist? You're sounding very nativist, Maze.
What did Melania
You have a
do?
problem with Melania being born in Slovakia or Slovenia, wherever she is? Slovenia, right?
What was she known for?
She was known for being President Trump's very ladylike wife.
Really?
Yes.
Man, that's what's wrong with y'all. Y'all confused.
Are you going to bring up some unclassy things? Hold on, Maze. Are you going to bring up some unclassy things about her past?
I'm saying an unclassy thing. Before you look at the other ones and call them unclassy, those were all American women. That one was not, and that's y'all problem.
No, those were anti-American women.
You love America.
Hold on, Maze. Those were anti-American feminist women.
Oh, really?
Yes, really.
Women. They were American born here, and they
doesn't
had
matter.
Jobs, they
American by blood, but not by spirit.
Yeah.
Those women were evil.
What pass did Melania have?
Those women were and are evil.
Your children.
Huh?
If you want to do some history on it, you look up all of the things those women that I just named they did in through life. What would you
just named the most. You just named the most benevolent sounding things about Laura Bush was a librarian or whatever she was, and then you want to act like you want to try to imply negative things about Melania Trump, who acted like a lady pretty much throughout the presidency. At times she pulled her. I remember one time I'm putting her on hold. I remember one time she pulled her hand away from President Trump. He tried to grab her hand, to hold hands, and she pulled her hand away. So I'm like, I'm not sure what's going on there. But for the most part, she was a lady. And she's like, yes, sometimes I may not necessarily agree, but he is his own man. And that's what a lady should do, defer to the man. But that's not how Laura Bush was. George W. Bush said Laura Bush saved him. I think he said that. Simp.
For the Constitution.
Did you know that you were on hold until just now?
I don't care. They wouldn't fight for the Constitution.
But did you know?
Well, yes, I do. I know when I'm on hold.
Okay.
So that's why they were not fighting for the Constitution. Nothing that they fighting about. And they tried to deny the man his inauguration.
You're talking about the First Ladies?
Because of these Looney Tunes.
Are you talking about the First Ladies?
That's why they president for 4 years. If you don't like what you have for those 4 years, you wait till the next 4 and vote for somebody. Don't try to tie the country up because somebody lost. Get over it. If it's your president.
Okay, thanks, Mace. Thank you.
That's how you do it as you're a Christian and you pretend you are. So with those ladies, those First Ladies that I told you.
Have you caught COVID?
What?
Have you caught COVID? You know, the Chinese
what you mean if I caught COVID?
Wuhan virus? Did you get the communist virus?
Because y'all racists say we're supposed to catch it? No.
We're racist. I didn't say that you catch it more.
What is the Asian community?
I asked you because your mind doesn't seem right.
My mind is right. I'm just telling for the ill and uninformed.
Okay.
They think they Christians. That's how it's supposed to go. Those First Ladies are American women.
No, they again for the second. Mace, will you be quiet and listen for a second, woman? Those ladies may have, and I use the term very loosely, may have been born in America and be so-called American physically, but their spirit is anti-American, anti-man. They destroyed their sons, and I don't know what's going to happen to Barron, and I don't know what happens behind the scenes with Trump and Melania. But she acted like a lady for the most part. Not so with these others.
Like a lady.
Yeah.
But that was not. She acted like a lady.
And she was more American than the others.
You don't teach your children.
A real American is not anti-man.
That's not what I'm saying, anti-man. It's like you don't teach them to hate the First Ladies. You didn't have nothing good to say about Nancy Reagan. You said she was a
because I was a kid. I don't remember Nancy Reagan. I heard that she was into astrology or something. That's all I know.
You wanted to know something about Nancy Reagan. How did you do?
I don't care. Mace, I gotta go. You don't make sense.
James, you always talking about freedom of speech, but everybody don't have freedom of speech if they ain't saying what you want to hear. That's what I don't get.
You don't have to get it. Just be quiet.
Well, freedom of speech means you got to say what you got to say, and the other person say what they got to say.
I know, but this is my show. I can do what I want.
That man can go on down the
I gotta go. You have a good day.
And they can form their state down there.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Mays needs some brain power, says Brandon M. Let me quickly get to Joe in Phoenix, Arizona. Oh, my gosh. Joe. Oh, man. What's up, Joe? Go for it.
Mays got you all riled up, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, listen. Biden's going to be a center-left, moderate president who's going to be caught in gridlock for the next 2 years with filibusters and other delayed tactics. You don't need to worry about anything, Hake.
What does center in your mind? Center left is Mike Cernovich. Well, actually, he's kind of far left a little bit, but in certain ways. But what do you mean center left? What's center in your mind?
He's going to compromise with the GOP allowed to get anything done, but nothing.
The GOP is pretty far left. The GOP is pretty far left themselves nowadays. What's center in your mind?
Again, nothing far left is going to get done, James. There's not going to be
far left is already the state of what's going on now.
James, nothing's getting done now. What are you talking about?
For example, all of his executive orders ending the construction of the wall, reinstituting this social justice thing, this racial equity thing, which if you've read anything about it, it's just, it's atheistic Marxism, communism. It's anti-white, anti-actual justice.
Versus the policies of the last president, James. That's just normal. Every single
you can call that normal all you want, but you never defined what center is, because you know that center means the Constitution, which is what conservative Republicans and American patriots like President Trump and maybe Ted Cruz, if he were to actually hold to what he claims to believe in, are about.
James, midterms will be here before we know it, and one or two of the houses will get swept, and then there'll be nothing but gridlock going forward. So,
but you don't realize that this is not moderate. Biden is not moderate. He was for same-sex marriage before Barack finally admitted that he was pro same-sex marriage. He is a radical. He is pure evil. Nobody in the Democrat Party is a moderate.
When it comes to abortion,
most of the people in the Republican Party are far left.
Stop talking over me.
Okay, go for it.
Second.
Yeah.
In 1981, he introduced the Biden Amendment, which prohibited foreign aid funding of abortion.
1980?
1981. He voted against
That's when I was born. Are you aware that that's when I was born? That's when abortion was not popular in the Democrat Party as it is today. He's going to be kissing up like crazy. I bet you he reverses the Mexico policy, the Mexico City policy thing that is not for, oh yeah, he will. Every Democrat has done that. The Mexico City policy funding abortions overseas.
Yeah, he said he will do that, yeah.
Yeah, see? He's pro-abortion. He's for everything evil, man.
He's a deeply devout Catholic.
Oh, gosh. Spare me. He is not remotely deeply devout anything. He's a shallow shell of a male.
Well, James, you know what? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Nothing will get done. Watch and see.
All right. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate you, man. Take care. All right. Yeah, so the FCC is now controlled by Democrats, and it's so ridiculous. You know, broadcast journalism, you know, radio, television, and then also writing newspapers. So I guess according to FCC rules, you can't own a news station and also a newspaper in the same town or same market, right? And that's the rules. And yet you look at what everybody, you know, Google, Twitter, Facebook control, like huge swaths of the online market. It's so obsolete. And yet Ilana Kagan and Sonia Sotomayor of the Supreme Court, who are liberals, yeah, a Catholic who is pro-abortion, are worried about women and minorities not having control of these media outlets that are on traditional platforms. What a mess. Such terrible lies. And I didn't get to much of this, but Julian Assange and many others are under these things called SAMs, according to Revolver News and Columbia Journalism Review, which, you know, SAMs people, usually they're prisoners, have gag orders so that they can't talk to anybody but their lawyers and their family members. And usually they can't talk to really anybody. And those people who they talk to are also under gag orders. So you can't really get the truth out. And this has happened in America. Crazy stuff. I'm wearing my beautiful White History Month t-shirt. I disagree with Boston Tea Patriot, who says, dump the shirt, you lose credibility. Measure the man, not his color. But White History Month, I wore this t-shirt because it's kind of like whites are History Month, because this is an anti-white presidency. An Irish so-called Catholic, anti-white, anti-American Democrat in office. Who would have thought it? What a mess. But we keep our head up, keep fighting. Thank you, guys. TheHakeReport.com for my stuff. JesseLeePeterson.com for Jesse's stuff. We'll see you tomorrow, I think. Take care. Frozen or something? Nice.
Hake.